Hello and welcome to this video for Grand Challenge 2.5 of the FEMM Hub. I'm Dr. Jill Miscandlon from the Advanced Foreign Research Centre in Glasgow, and I'm going to be taking you through a little bit of the work that we've been doing on this Grand Challenge. So Grand Challenge 2.5 is the newest of the challenges within the FEMM Hub. We only launched officially last month, so in October 2020. And really this Grand Challenge came about from conversations that we'd been having within the other work packages, and we really noticed that there was a huge hole in the research that we're doing in terms of forward planning and forward thinking for sustainable manufacture, which is where this Grand Challenge stemmed from. So the main investigators in the hub, you can see there we've got a range of academics from different institutions within the FEMM Hub. And we've also got a PhD student, Lee Patterson, who's been working on this topic since October last year. And Lee's got her own video, which will be available on the website. So I would encourage you to go and check that out. So when we were developing the outlook for this work package, it was really looking to see where we felt we needed to focus the attention of the FEMM Hub group. And for us, the key aims for Grand Challenge 2.5 will be to discover, assess and implement alternative and more sustainable manufacturing routes, and looking at the entire life cycle of the electrical machine components. Aim to loop these materials back into the manufacture at the end of the component life, so developing a circular economy approach to electrical machines. And also one of the things that will be critical to the FEMM Hub is looking at the supply chain available in the UK, and helping to develop the capabilities of that supply chain. So there will be people currently working in recycling or reuse of materials. There will be people working in electrical machine supply chain. And what we're looking to do is scope out what capability is available and how we can help bring these two worlds together, to really get something which is impactful from a circular economy point of view for electrical machines. So to do that, we've got 5 main research challenges, which I'm just going to run through briefly with you. Challenge 1, as I mentioned, looking at developing models for sustainable manufacture. And we're going to be looking to develop these models based on work that has been done in previous projects. And I'll come to that a little bit later on in the talk. Challenge 2 is looking at detailing potential options for the current electrical machine materials and components, so whether that be reuse, remanufacture, refurbishing or recycling if needed, and really help develop a flow down quality chart of where these materials can be reused and also potentially recycled. So even if we can't get a fully looped system within a particular sector or for a particular application, it might be a case that we can take materials and components out of one sector and sort of flow them down to a different sector. Challenge 3 will be looking at the use of in-service data to develop data-driven intelligence. So rather than having a stab in the dark and selecting a strategy that may or may not work, what we're looking to do is use the data generated around electrical machines from manufacturing to in-service to end of life, and actually put intelligence into the timings of the interventions and the type of intervention that we use. So it's not always going to be appropriate to try and reuse or to remanufacture a component. It's not always going to be appropriate to try and recycle material. So what we're trying to do with this Grand Challenge is look at all the data available, try and build that into a model, which then gives you intelligence on where you should be putting your effort, in terms of approach and also in terms of timing within the life cycle of an electrical machine. Challenge 4 and 5 are more focused around helping build UK supply chains. So at the moment, like I said, we just kicked off this project about 6 weeks ago. So we're still in the very initial stages, but one of the first things that we are planning on doing is trying to scope out what supply chain there is in the UK for end-of-life processing of current and future machines. Now, this could be companies that are specialising in the end-of-life processing of machines at the moment, or companies that have no experience in it, but actually are very interested in getting involved in the topic in future. And then for challenge 5, we're looking to collaborate with UK-based companies to help develop case studies for improvements on the recycling and the reuse of materials and components. With a lot of the components which are in service at the moment, it's not going to be an easy solution. There are going to be issues associated with that. And I think the sooner that we can get some case studies to develop the understanding of where the problems lie, the sooner that we can hopefully get to an optimised solution. So of those research challenges, they kind of distill into these 5 research objectives, and obviously the key one that we're looking at is reducing the use of finite materials. Everybody knows that when you're mining virgin materials, not only are you depleting the stocks of them, but there's a huge economical and environmental impact as well. So what we're looking to do is reduce the use of virgin materials, but also potentially develop new materials that are more sustainable and don't have the same environmental impact as some of the materials that are getting used at the moment. One of the other things we'll be looking at is a consideration of which manufacturing techniques are more energy efficient. So in some of the other work packages in FEMM, we're looking at how do we use novel manufacturing techniques to enable us to create products and components that have never been created before. And in this one, we have to balance that off with these new manufacturing techniques might be technically very good, but from an environmental point of view, are they good for our future? And when we put those two things together, can that help us develop innovative manufacturing techniques that not only get us better quality or better efficiency in product, but actually get us something which is environmentally positive as well? A huge area for the research is going to be around design for disassembly. So strategies on how we reuse, recycle, remanufacture the current machines. And when we are disassembling those machines, obviously we want to be able to take the materials out. We want to separate components from each other. So how do we do that in the least polluted way possible? And a lot of that will be around, the design of the future machine. It's not just strategies for how we disassemble current machines, but how do you put intelligence into your design in the first place, that it makes things a lot simpler in the future as well. And then, as I mentioned previously as well, we've got this circular economy approach, which we'll be trying to develop a model for, that uses data-driven intelligence. And basically, if you're producing product data anyway, or if it doesn't take a lot more effort to produce that data, what data do we need? How do we collect it? And then how do we use it to actually inform our circular economy approach to the project? So one of the big things that's going to be going on within Grand Challenge 2.5 is we've got a lot of outward reaching engagements. Obviously at the moment, it's, like I said, it's only been sort of 6 weeks since we started, so we're still in the very early stages, but we do have plans to reach out to a lot of the groups and the companies that are already working within this space. So I've just listed there some of the groups and projects that we're beginning to have a discussion with. So the Circular 4.0 project, which my colleague Ash Tawari is working on, as well as Grand Challenge 2.5. We've got the UKRI National Interdisciplinary Circular Economy Hub, which has been run by some of the people working at Exeter Centre for Circular Economy. We've got the Magnetics Materials Group down at the University of Birmingham, who've been doing some excellent work over the last 20, 30 years on how do you recycle magnetic materials. And whereas somebody like the MMG are looking at the more technical side of how you actually physically reuse or recycle the magnets themselves, what we're looking to do is come a little bit further up the supply chain. So we're not looking at what we actually do physically with the magnets, but how can we design the machine that makes it easier for those magnets to be disassembled at the end of life, to then feed into a process that somebody like the Magnetics Materials Group are developing. So it's not about doing the same work twice. It's about linking in with the expertise that's already there and being able to make their life easier by actually getting some design rules at the design stage of the machine. At the University of Strathclyde as well, we've got good links with the Scottish Institute for Remanufacture, who do a lot of work with the wind energy sector. And then, of course, within the FEMM Hub, we've got our own industrial and scientific board, advisory boards, who are very supportive of Grand Challenge 2.5, and we'll be working with them quite closely to make sure that we're actually answering the problems that need to be answered from an industrial point of view. So as I mentioned, Grand Challenge 2.5 has been up and running for about 6 weeks now. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of technical detail to go into on the actual research that we've done. But what I wanted to do was just highlight a couple of the projects that I mentioned just briefly there, that we're going to be looking to engage with, just to give you a flavour of some of the work that is going on in the UK at the moment on this area. So I mentioned Circular 4.0 project, which is data-driven intelligence for a circular economy. They kicked off in February last year, and they're running till February 2022. So the main aim of that project is to identify how data products in use can inform intelligent decisions. And that's, again, looking at the implementation of circular economy strategies, and to be able to accelerate the implementation of those strategies and those approaches to UK manufacturing. And I think this comes in with some of the things I was saying about earlier for the FEMM Hub, is how do we use data that is already there, or data that is reasonably straightforward to collect? How do we do that to make intelligent decisions, so that it's not just applying the same decision all the time, or taking a shot in the dark at what you think might be the best one? How do we get data behind that to really make us confident that we know what we're implementing, and we're confident that it's going to get a positive outcome? So some of the outputs of Circular 4.0 project you can see on the screen there. So looking at industrial case studies to demonstrate the concept. They're looking to build modelling and simulation to demonstrate the results, and to demonstrate the impact that the results can have as well. They're doing a lot of academic and industry facing work, and again, that's something that the FEMM Hub is going to mirror in that aspect of it. It's not just academic and it's not just industrial. We have to satisfy both ends of the work at the same time. And then obviously Circular 4.0 is looking to disseminate across different industry sectors, and with FEMM as well, that's going to be something similar that we'll be looking to do. Is it's not just one solution for one application in one sector. It's about how do we generalize it enough so that multiple sectors, multiple applications can get use out of it, but it's still specific enough to actually answer the questions that they need answered. So some of the areas of collaboration that Circular 4.0 project is looking at is trying to enable a feedback system, so that you're no longer you're no longer on a one-way street. You've got data coming backwards and forwards, so that you're optimizing the entire process. And as I mentioned earlier, it's about this opportunity to connect users and suppliers and manufacturers. So it's not just about one aspect of the manufacturing chain, it's about every step along the way of how you get more data there to make it a more valuable insight that you're given. And then enabling, circular business models as a product or a service. And I think that's something that is probably a little bit away, but I think it's a good aim to have. Of it's not a bespoke solution. It's not something that you have to put years and years of research in, but you're actually putting this circular business model as something that people can dip into and can get answers quite quickly. So that's the Circular 4.0 project. As I said, that is run until 2022, and we'll be looking to engage quite closely with the researchers on that so that we can get the most out of both areas of work. So, Circular 4.0 can learn from what the FEMM Hub's doing and vice versa, and it's hopefully going to be a very strong collaboration. Another group that I wanted to talk about just very briefly is the UKRI National Interdisciplinary Circular Economy Research Hub. So this is quite a new development where you've got 5 centres who are doing research in circular economy, and then they are all sort of coordinated by this interdisciplinary hub, which is led by the circular economy coordinators, who are Professor Fiona Charnley and Professor Peter Hopkinson. And the idea of that, it's an Innovate UK funded project, and each of the centres themselves will have their own research focus, but then the interdisciplinary hub will really be working to bring all that together. They've got their own research, of course, going on, but it's about bringing everything together. So again, you have a joined up strategic approach to circular economy and the implementation of that within a UK-based supply chain. So just a slide on the Circular Economy Hub and their engagement landscape. You can see there, they've got 160 organisations, hundreds of individuals, nations all over the world. And one of the key things is they've got 22 different disciplines involved there. So it really is cross collaboration for people that maybe normally wouldn't work together. And you can see in the right hand side of the screen there, you've got academic institutions and business organisations, which are lined up quite well with what the FEMM Hub's looking at. We're looking at industry facing and also academic facing. But with this Circular Economy Hub, they've also got societal organisations, policy institutions, and third sector organisations. So it really is a truly cross-collaborative effort from everyone in terms of who's getting involvement in circular economy and who needs to be involved for the research to actually be taken forward and implemented fully. So that was a brief overview of Grand Challenge 2.5 and some of the projects that we will be engaging with in the next couple of months. But what I would say is, obviously, I've just mentioned a couple of projects and research groups that we're aware of. One of the things with Grand Challenge 2.5 is we really are looking to engage with as wide a group as possible. So whether that's academics or industry, whether it's people that are researching the circular economy side of things or in the electrical machine side, but want to understand more about the end of life processing or how they can make the machines more sustainable for the future. We would love to hear about what's happening in the UK. So please do feel free to get in touch if you feel like you're working in an area that can lend itself or can feed into the work that we're planning on doing in Grand Challenge 2.5. There are contact details, so myself and Ash are the sort of two main researchers on this Grand Challenge. The FEMM Hub as well, obviously we've got the videos that are going on the website this month. We've also got Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we have our own mailing list as well. So I hope the conversation today was informative. So I should just put up our hub partners at the end as well. It's a really exciting research strand, and I'm really looking forward to kicking off fully in the next few weeks, and we can hopefully make a huge amount of progress on this with our industrial partners and the other projects that are working in this field. So thank you very much.